on the cloud. So Brian's actually in the next room next door instead of right next to me. So just bear with me for a little bit. I did have some people ask some questions before we begin, and I will answer those. If you have your own PC, should you install WordPress on your PC and do the web design on a local provider, like on your actual device, and then upload it? No. And reason being is because let's say your PC has a virus or malware and you don't know about it, it can and will get onto that WordPress files and infect it. And then when you upload it, it will infect all the files on your WordPress. I've known this because I've actually had it happen before and had a designer that did it that way before. So I don't do it that way. As far as Hawk Host, I don't have a clue. I just know they're really good. I use them and probably US based. I've never dug that far. Um, I mean, I can if you want me to real quick, and I'll find out. Give me 1 second. So Hawk Host, let's see where they're located at and see if I can find them. We're going to be showing you how to do internal pages today. They are actually Canadian. They're not in US based, they're actually Canadian. Um, Brian's going to basically be showing y'all today how to do inner pages. Going to do one main inner page, and then after we do the inner page, we're going to show you how to duplicate that page so you don't have to sit there and recreate. You have one layout and you can just pop, bam, 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 and get all the services done, unless you want each page to have its own look and own flow and all that craziness, which I normally don't do it that way. If it's 10 services, usually all 10 of them going to get the same layout, same flow. Okay, Brian, feel free to go ahead and get started. We are recording and you are able to share your screen, bud. All right, so he's just going to start creating additional pages. This is going to be our first inner page, or what we call service pages. If you have any questions, just drop them down below and I will answer them as best as possible while he's actually doing the work. If you need us to repeat anything, if you need him to repeat anything, just tell me below in the chat and I will make sure that it is done, okay? Because Brian can still hear me. We can still communicate and everything. Right now, he's building the hero, if you will, the hero image or the hero head area. He's going to be doing a header one, a line in its center text. And like I said in a couple of classes ago, you always want the header to be a color that will stand out over your, if you will, your hero image. You don't want it to blend in with your hero image, okay? Or any image for that matter. A lot of times I'll see text that will actually blend into an image, and then A, it's bad design, and B, you're not going to be able to read it. Your viewers aren't going to be able to read it or anything. So out of curiosity, have I tried Cadence? No, I have not. Mainly, you got to think, for instance, Thomas, we are building at scale. We build 400 plus websites every month. So for me to go to Cadence, I would have to teach our entire web design team. I'd have to learn Cadence, then I'd have to teach our web design Cadence, and then I'd have to teach our entire web design team Cadence. So it's a little bit more complicated than me doing, 1 or 2 sites or even 10 a month. We do close to 300 to 400 a month. So on the left-hand side, he has some, if you will, our text is always modified and SEO'd for, in this case, it's Mesa, Arizona, junk removers or junk removal. He's going to put a quote form on the right-hand side. We always want quote forms, contact us now buttons, etc., etc. Okay, we don't ever want to have contact. You'll go to websites a lot of times, and what you'll see is, or at least I see, is you'll have pretty much content and a contact us now or a call to action button way at the bottom. And most people read and their line of vision stays right here. So if I scroll and I don't see a contact button, most people are like, well, I can't find your contact button. I can't find how to call you. I can't find information about you. So you always want to keep the contact us now button up there. Okay. So if you have questions, let me know and I'll answer them best as I can. Okay. Da, 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 da. Let's see. Also, like I've shown you, I mean, I'm pretty sure y'all seen them. If you want any website audits or anything, just go in to the group, fill out a form. The form is actually in the group, and I post it at least once, twice a week. Or you can email me at philamrush@gmail.com, and I will do an audit for you. I generally do these audits go live on a daily basis. So if you want to know, then just let me know. Okay. You want me to do an audit for you, just let me know and I'll get that for you. Let's see, we got any questions going on over here. All right. So the link to add questions. No, you can go in this class. You can go ahead and put them in here. I'm cool with that, Gareth. I'm talking about specifically if you want me to do a website audit for you, just email it over to me and I'll get that taken care of. Or if you want an audit and I post it on a weekly basis, just drop it in that link whenever I post it. But can I describe what Brian is doing? Yep. It's really, for example, whenever we start creating this page, you're going to set up the columns. Once you set up the columns, the plus symbol or the plus sign that you see is just essentially add a block. He's going to, for example, if he scrolls over that and he hits the plus sign, he can search. Does he want to add a heading? Does he want to add a video? Does he want to add, a gallery? Does he want to add an image? Whatever he's wanting to add, he can pretty much just click the button and add it. And if you click, a map or what have you, calendar, RSS feeds, latest posts, categories, short codes, everything you can think of. Okay. Yep. And that's the question you have. So out of curiosity, do I have a recommended size for images for mobile and web? So whenever you're creating your images, depending on your image creator, like in Adobe, you can save Adobe images whenever you're making your images, JPEG, PNG, whatever you're making them, you can actually save them for web. And then whenever you save them, it saves them for web. So in regarding speed optimization on the images and stuff, it's the same question. If you're using Adobe Photoshop, and I'll show you that at the end, you can hit save as or export for, and you export it for web, and it's already optimized, if you will. Now, sometimes you'll still need to use a plugin to quote unquote compress them, but realize the moment you compress them, especially if you're dealing with a photographer, the image is not going to look that crystal clear 4K definite, def type image. And sometimes your clients are going to complain, and then they're going to be like, well, I'd rather have the image quality over the speed. So that also depends on the client. Preferably, I always want the images optimized best as possible for page speed. etc. So this is just going to be this specific page. It's on junk removal. So yep. And the Canva images are good, but they're good to go. Whenever I'm talking about images, I'm talking about specifically whenever you're using Adobe Photoshop. You can export it that way, but on Canva, you're good. I don't think anybody's going in Canva and create, at least I'm not creating a, huge picture that's going to be like mega big and terrible for SEO and terrible for, if you will, web design. Most of the images that we're going to be using inside of Canva is going to be, and we can show it to you at the end, but is going to be smaller images. These are all images, generally speaking, that are going to be small enough quality and everything. He's showing you already. You can set the size of the image and how big you want it and the quality size and everything. Normally, let's say if it's an Adobe, you can have a huge professionally done image, and then you'll get people trying to upload images. They're just way too big, like 4,000 by 4,000 pixels, etc. at 300, at 300 DPI and all that. Then you're going to wind up having to compress those images, and then you're going to have to re-upload those images. And if they're already on CDN, you're going to have issues as well. So, Patrick says, has a question. When do you put a video on the site? What format? I use YouTube. I do not put, and I'd never, ever host a video on my website. So when I go to upload a video, I have already used a YouTube channel, uploaded on YouTube, and then I do a YouTube embed. I will never, ever host it on the actual website. Reason being is because A, it's terrible for SEO. B, you can use the YouTube SEO that we were going over in class, in the Reloaded class, okay, for the past couple of days. But then on top of it, you're going to slow down your host, you're going to slow down your server and everything else. Ideal size for DPI. Whenever I'm loading it into for web, I try 72, but I don't go 300 and I don't go craziness. So 72 is usually for web. Anything in print or anything of that nature should be 300. At least when I was in school, that's what they taught me. They might have changed it, but that's what I still do today. So like I've shown you before, is the biggest thing is I want 2 columns, and always, usually every time we do a site, it's going to be image, text, image, text, and we're going to rotate. And then sometimes we'll have an image that goes all the way across, it's full width, and break up the design or whatever. This is specifically for a rank and rent type website. So you're going to see a lot of, if you will, call to action. We want a form. We want them to call us and stuff like that. And, we're going to use various images for everything. So that image right there, Brian, will wind up changing that to something different. So it'd be a different image. And then he's going to switch some things out. So if you have any questions, make sure you drop them in the chat and I'll answer them as we're doing this, okay? Y'all are, Scott, that's not even, I don't even get into that concern. To me, that's, once I show you in Adobe Photoshop and stuff, I never look at that. What's the kilobytes for the image? If you're looking at that, you're trying to get into some technical stuff that, to me, a lot of things don't even, people get too complicated about stuff that doesn't even matter. As long as you're doing it right, you shouldn't be worrying about stuff like that. Okay. But maybe, this, obviously the smaller the better, but JPEG, and then also if you're using Adobe Photoshop, it'll be even better as well. But let's see, no more questions yet. So yeah, he's pulling the images from, I mean, there's a couple of places we go from besides Canva. Like I told you, Dreams Time is another one. Free Pick is another one. Let's see here, pull up any more questions. Let's see here. Cool. Are the blocks Brian is using native? These are native or Astra blocks, Brian?
Yes, sir.
Native or Astra? Which one?
This is for the WordPress
Yeah, I'm pretty
built-in.
sure native. It's the native ones. It's not. Like I told you before, for example, is Gutenberg is coming up with something they've already came out with a lot of it. It's specifically for Gutenberg and its blocks, and a lot of it's Elementor and some other things are coming with makes it similar to Elementor. Problem with doing that is it's going to slow the website down and then you screw up your core vitals. Okay. Others, so for rank and rent sites, the whole purpose of them for the most part is we just go in and get them ranked. A lot of times people in rank and rent don't even care how they look. They just want them ranked. Okay. So we can do a lot of different things that we normally wouldn't do per se on a regular website. A regular client's website, they may not want 5,000 words of content on the homepage. But on a rank and rent, they're going to say put as much content as you got to rank it. On a regular website, they may want it to have a certain look. Most rank and rents are not like that. Most rank and rents, they just, they want it done very easy, put the information on there, put some call to actions and get the thing ranked. I do not create GMBs, Raj, whatsoever. If you want a method to getting GMBs, email me.
So this block I am using now is from Gutenberg Ultimate Add-on from Astra.
So as Brian just said, so that one is built with Gutenberg from Astra, those blocks in specific. So sometimes you put 5,000 words on a home page. That's a question from Patrick. Yes, I did an audit today for someone that had almost 5,000 words on the home page. The more, the better. Is it safe to place 80% of the copy in the accordion? I've never seen an issue with it. For example, you can use the location pages and put the driving directions and all the things to do, places to go, etc., in an accordion, and it will still get indexed and it will still rank. I personally for me, I would want most of my content to be visible. No, I didn't. No, I never said that, Patrick. I want, for instance, Patrick thought the most I'd ever put on a homepage is 2,500 words. No, I'll put as much as I can on a homepage. That's just me though. Generally speaking, though, I tell people the base should be around 1,500 plus. An accordion, we'll show you that in another page, but an accordion, let's say when we go to do a fax page, we'll show you how to do that where you have a question and an answer, but when you hit the accordion, it opens up. Okay. So he's showing you right now, that's if you will, that is an accordion. When I click on an image, when I click on the question opens up. What's a FAQ? It has lorem text. And then if I hit what is a FAQ, it opens up and it's hiding the text or it's hiding whatever you're putting in there. So it's not visible to the naked eye unless you click on it. Yes, correct. Press the plus sign and then it shows all the rest of the content. It's just a way of hiding content without doing any black hat tactics. I'm using CSS. Patrick says, so why would an SEO client not want to put 5,000 words on the homepage? Because clients are that way. Trust me, deal with thousands of them in a year, even a half dozen of them. If you're dealing with enough clients, a lot of clients think they know what's best. They have in their mind the way they want something to look. They have in their mind the way they want something to feel. And for the most part, especially if they've ever been in graphic design, they will tell you they really don't give a crap about the SEO. Just do them the way they want you to do it and make it look good and make it rain. They want everything. They want the cake and the icing. They want the whole thing. So with the cherry on top and all. What we try to do is try to say, and I personally don't deal with clients, some clients that way. So we put on whatever we do, whatever we got to do. So if after 3 months they're not ranking, and I come back and I say, well, your competition has this many words on their homepage and this has this much content, you don't. We need to put more content. If they don't want to put more content, then see you later. Go to somebody else. I don't use black hat tactics to hide via CSS because you can take CSS and push content from on the home page to off the page. Okay. You can do that. But when you do that, to me, it just Google's bots, when they go looking at it, they're going to say, hold up a minute here. Why are you on purposefully using CSS to push text off of the website so you can't see it, but yet you still want us to see it? So I'm afraid you probably get penalized for that. And I've seen enough people get penalized for doing stupid shit like that. Is it a best practice? Raj says, is it a best practice to create a homepage with 1,500 words and add more content on your blog page later? To me, I would slowly add more content onto my blogs. I do 1,500 word blogs, 2,500 word blogs, press releases. And then, of course, as you've seen, I do a blog. Then I use that to make a video with Wave, and I put it on YouTube, optimize that, then insert it back on the blog. And then I take that same blog, make it in a press release, take that same video and put it in the press release. Okay. So there's a lot more steps to it that most people don't do. They just make a video, slap it up there, and then, oh, it doesn't work. It's not ranking. Well, you got to do a bunch of other stuff to it. It's not just, that simple. Like right now, I'm doing audits galore. Why am I doing audits galore? I love helping people, but I'm also going after the term Google My Business SEO, Google My Business SEO audits. And I'm already ranking for them, already pulling on traffic. So, but I've optimized my entire channel for Google My Business SEO. So once we're done with this one page, then you're going to see how we, if you will, a lot of times people will make one page and then they are like, well, I got to recreate the whole page again. And it takes a lot of time to quote unquote recreate the whole page. There's a plugin, it's just a duplicate plugin. And basically once you install that, you just hit duplicate, duplicates whatever inner page you want. And then you just go in there and edit it, change out the image, change out the text, change out anything you want, add a new image or change the layout. I just stick very specifically whenever I'm doing this, I stick very specifically to one look for all of my service pages. So give me a second.
So now I am doing is checking all.
He's just checking to make sure everything is lining up on mobile and looks good on mobile, versus sometimes you'll do something and you'll add an image and then the image goes off the page or the text goes off the page or what have you, and you don't want that. So he's going to check every single device. That's one page done. You can scroll all the way down to the bottom and just show them the whole page, and then we're going to create another page. All right. All right, so if you could, Brian, go ahead and go to the plugin section so you can show them the plugin that we use. And this is one of the ones we install, but after we're done building out the site, we'll get rid of the plugin, delete it off, and don't keep it there. It's Yoast Duplicate.
So this is the plugin I'm using when duplicating a page, a post, so I won't have to redo the pages all over again. So it will be easier for me and more efficient and fast that way than recreating the whole page.
It's just another way of saving some time. So instead of actually going in and having to recreate everything, you just have to go in and change images or, change the text and stuff like that. All right, and then whenever you duplicate it, let's go in here. You see where it says clone. So you're just going to hit clone, and once you clone it, it's going to come back as a clone, as a draft, right? And then you just edit your title. You do a quick edit and edit the title, change the title obviously to the next page or your next service. That way it changes your meta title, meta description, all that stuff. So let's see, any more questions we got coming in here? No questions yet. Yep. Okay. So, yeah, they have Yoast has a duplicate page tool. It's not actually called a page, believe it or not. All pages are posts and all posts are posts. So you can remove the plugins and all the things you did while remain even after the plugins go. No. So for example, you use the plugin, I deactivate the plugin, I remove the plugin, and anything I did while I was using the plugin and was active will still remain. It's not gone. It doesn't get deleted. My backup the site, I use sometimes a plugin, and then I also have it on HawkHost. So we have daily backups on HawkHost. So the best thing to do is not rely on a plugin. I personally would rather rely on my actual hosting. Once again, that's just me. It's not necessary, but it's just what we do. Doing it this method's going to save you a hell of a lot more time than trying to do it any other way. Yes. And yeah, Brian, you can feel free to answer any questions you want, bud. Y'all have any questions whatsoever for Brian, just drop the questions, man, and he'll answer them as well. Very clear. You see what someone will say, Brian. Patrick says, very clear English, Brian. Great job. So yeah, to check the mobile, we can use the inspect tool just like we do any other time to actually check and see whether or not it's mobile friendly, or we actually can use it on the development side and preview it as well. So you see in the top right hand side where it says preview, we can preview desktop, tablet, or mobile. But even so, after you're done publishing it, I would go into the inspect tool and actually inspect it, that specific page, to see what it looks like on mobile.
The thing I don't like using this preview button in the developing stage because sometimes it gets destroyed, but when you check it in the live site, it will be okay. So I hope WordPress will fix that issue.
Yep. So best is always to check it on the live site. Patrick says, so you optimize your YouTube channel for Google My Business instead of web design or website SEO? For me, yes, because my audience is Google My Business, Google My Business, Google My Business SEO, Google My Business audits. Everybody else totally different. If you're a web designer, or if you're, sod layer, or you're a plumber, I would optimize it towards whatever your service or your main GC ID is, or Google category ID. Gareth says, can you please show us how you did the footer and the footer links in particular? We actually already went over the footer in one of the first few classes, but once we're done creating all the pages, we will be hyperlinking all those footer links and everything, Gareth. But we will go over that again with the links. But in day one, when we created the header and footer, we went over that. Let's see what else. Patrick, so you can remove the plug. Yep, I already answered that one. Do I ever save a backup on my own hard drive? Yes, we have our own hard drive, but we mainly put it on the local host. The host, and then we have a backup of a site once we build it, but we're not going to daily do that every day. That's just insanity when you're dealing with thousands of clients. I rather the host does it, pay them to do it, and let them handle it. Scott says, you're doing a great job, Brian. Love it. Diacasio says, Brian, at what point do you use the mobile check? I mean, what point size are you using for the mobile? Is it 72 pixels or?
544, sir. So Gutenberg will only read a mobile size. When you're optimizing as well, the size for it is breakpoint is 544 pixel.
If the window's open in that room, just go ahead and shut it because you're getting some breath or air coming in.
Yes, sir. Wait.
FYI, that's what it probably is the window there. Yep. Do you guys have time to make a video on how to create a sub? We're actually already doing that, Patrick. I told them yesterday they're going to make one for you on how to create a subdomain name for hosting. Yes, been super busy. So we can set up a development space for our own website. Yep. Brian, did y'all start that yesterday, or can y'all get to that today, please?
The one who will make a subdomain, sir?
Yeah, it's showing them how to do a subdomain name so we can actually put that into the back end of the class as well.
I think I already did, sir, but it's in my PC.
Okay, just email it to me as soon as you can. Thomas says, do you place blog links in the header? Yes. Once we actually do a blog, we will put it up in the header as well. Gutenberg can read only what size on mobile. They didn't hear you when you said that because of the wind. Brian,
Sir?
what size on the mobile that Gutenberg allows for?
544 pixel.
So nothing crazy big or anything like that.
Nothing, sir. That's what we are using, especially in our breakpoint in CSS.
Keep questions coming if you got them. We'll definitely go through them again. So he's done so far essentially 2 pages in 40 minutes or less. As soon as I get a break, Patrick, I will. But for right now, I'm running 3 classes on a daily basis, and it's hard to do any of that. Thank you. I love that. Cool. My wife just came in. They said, by the way, Brian has very good English. Yeah. You want to hear something funny about Brian? Brian, love him. We live in if you will, Zamboanga del Sur, and the dialect here is Bisaya. And how much Bisaya do you speak, Brian? Very little.
100%.
Now, English, he understands great, and Tagalog, he understands great. Bisaya, not so much. But
I don't know why my page is always refreshing to go to home page edit.
yeah. So
And also, if you guys want to edit it in HTML, you can press this more option here, then you can edit it. Like you can put change the color of some text, like this one. I'm gonna change this quotes to something more popping out. I'm gonna search.
I know on some sites you can choose, for example, you may want a large header or big fonts. You can change the font size. You can change the color. You can change all that. Depends on your audience. Maybe they want bigger text. Maybe they're an older audience and they wear glasses. I mean, maybe they're a younger audience. It all depends. So
You can change the font size here.
yeah. So Patrick says, how did Brian learn Gutenberg so fast? How long did it take you to learn Gutenberg once we did it, Brian?
1 week, I think
About a
so.
week. Yep.
See, it changed again to the home page. I don't know why. What is it? What is happening?
Yeah, we'll go back to that.
Yes, sir. I'll check on. Maybe it's because we have an update earlier, sir, on the WordPress. Maybe it's a bug.
So we'll finish up this page, and once you finish up this page, then let's show them some of the plugins and stuff that you're using, specifically the WordPress installer or migrator. There's a couple of plugins very specific. Want to train someone on Gutenberg? Patrick, email me. So once this page is done, we'll go through some of the plugins, or I will. Once he's done with this page, I'm going to take over and I'll show you some plugins we use. very specifically for, you know, different things, but there's only a handful of them that I actually use. So it's just checking the mobile with the inspect tool, making sure it looks good, you know, making sure there's enough padding, stuff like that.
It's done, sir.
All right, so if you could go ahead and stop sharing, and I will go ahead and if y'all have any more questions, just drop them in, but I'm going to go ahead and go over some stuff. So if you have, let's pull up here. Let me pull this up. All right. Let's pull it up. There's one, it's called All-in-One Migration Tool. I do not have affiliates on any of this stuff, so what this migration tool does for WordPress, it enables you to essentially, once you install it, to migrate any site. Okay. If you wanted to, what we could do, we'll show you at the end of this class when we go live how we install it, but it's the same area. Go to plugins and then install it. It is a servemass.com plugin. It's just called all-in-one migration. And basically what it winds up doing, if you will, let's say, let me see if I have one I can use. Internet's going kind of slow, and I don't think I have the login for that. Go ahead and pull your screen back open. Do you have all-in-one migrator where you're at, Brian?
Yes, sir.
If you
I
can
do.
show them that. We're not going to use it right now, but I just want to at least show them a couple of steps. So if we were to go over here to plugins and we type in all-in-one, that all-in-one migration tool, so that's the free version. If you do this on a regular basis, have large sites, you're going to want to update to the pro version. The pro version has no limitations or anything. You would install it, and then after you install it, we're going to activate it. Okay, once it's activated, you'll see in the left-hand side under settings, go down, and down. There it is, activate it, and go to settings after you activate it. And then you can import or export. So your export is if you wanted to migrate this site to somewhere else, you would if you click on the export to for me, you'd hit file and then it would export the entire site. When I was ready to import it, go ahead and stop your export. If I was ready to import it, I just hit import, I choose the file, and it literally imports. It takes maybe 5 minutes to import an entire website. So this is what I use, and this avoids you having to do the MySQL database and all this other craziness that has 20 other steps in importing and migrating sites. The other tool, which if you're in the GMB Reloaded class, that I would definitely install once you're ready to do the SEO, is either going to be, you know, depending on yourself, it's going to be Yoast, Rank Math, or Squirrely SEO. and then link whisperer. Then I go through just like I do in the class. There are other tools we'll use, on page SEO, et cetera, et cetera. But it's literally a handful of them. Backup tool, if you want to use a backup tool, but it's not many. It's going to be 10 or less. I don't try to keep too many plugins on my site. More plugins you have, what happens and the reason why, more plugins slows down the site. The other big factor besides the slow site is the more plugins you have, and if you're not updating them, okay, you're leaving yourself open for viruses. That's number 2. And number 3 is you could update a plugin, and if it wasn't tested to work for that version of WordPress or with your template, it can essentially break your site. Yep, all in one looked easier than Updraft. Updraft is nowhere near as easy as this, in my opinion. I already showed how to use Link Whisperer in class and the GMB masterclass. I've showed it in Reloaded. It is in Reloaded. If you're in there, just go into the classes and it specifically mentions it's Link Whisperer.
I
All
can
right.
show you guys how to put a link in menu or in the footer. It's like someone asked a while ago.
Gareth was asking, for example, how are you going to hyperlink all of the links in the footer?
In the footer. So in the footer, we can do it 2 ways. It's either you can create a footer menu or just put a link in the bottom of the text. Wait, this is the other one. So in the menu form, you can click here to create a new form. So this one will be your footer menu. So you can click here and it will create a new menu. We can name it footer menu. Then you can select here the menu settings. We can select footer menu, so it will be a footer menu. So, and hit create. Here we can select what pages do we want to display on our footer menu. So our target is the services pages. You can click here and this, and you can add it to our menu.
Does that answer your questions, Gareth? Let's see. Yep. Gareth says, thank you very much, Brian.
And save.
Yeah,
So
I actually, Dan's like, Dan's talking about drinking tea. I take multivitamins, Dan, from Amway, and then I take rhodiola with green tea, and I drink probably, how many cups of coffee I drink a day, Brian?
3.
Too much.
Too much to count.
So, but great
So,
explanation, Brian.
so you can put it here. I'm sorry if my internet is really slow.
So just stop right there, Brian. Give you an example, guys. So scroll up to where the links are. No, not scroll that far. Go back down in the footer, buddy. So see if he hovers over, you see the pen tool that comes up. You could click on that and literally go over into that area and modify the text and hyperlink them.
Here you can insert a link.
You can insert the links there and hyperlink. So anything you can scroll over, you see that pen tool pop open, that's telling you, you click on it and you can go edit it immediately.
And click here.
You set it to open in a separate page. You would only want it to open, in my opinion, to open to a separate page if you're taking it away from your website. I don't personally ever set any of them to open to a separate page unless it's from my website. If I'm taking them from my website, I want them to open up a separate page. If it's to another page in my website, I want them to stay. I don't want to open it up into a separate page. All right, so tomorrow, we'll go over some more contact page, fax page, stuff like that. Setting up a fax page is rather simple. We'll be doing it in an accordion, and then we'll go from there. If there's any more questions, feel free to email me, and I will upload this as soon as we are, as soon as we, if you will, are off here and done. I will upload this to the back end so you guys could have it. All right, Brian, let's see what else we got here. But so I'll upload it as soon as we get done here. And if you have any questions, just let me know. And we appreciate you guys. If you have any specific questions, we will get to them as much as possible. I'm going to show y'all some more things tomorrow and then the next day. So I appreciate it. If you need anything else, just let me know. Be blessed.